Hey everybody, it's Brian with Everything X-Carve. Today I'm going to show you how to do some accessories that are essential for the X-Carve to have. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Today we are going to go ahead and look at different accessories that you might need and you can make on your X-Carve. For instance, this wasteboard square. This is going to give you the opportunity, instead of having to line it up on your silkscreen lines or some makeshift lines, a way to easily put this down onto your wasteboard and line up your project instead of having to try and figure it out every time. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to build a spindle lock. So that way when you're undoing the bits, when you're unscrewing the bits, you can have both hands free to help if you're doing a mid-carve. Adjust that spindle so you're not trying to get your thumb in there and undo it. So we'll show you that as well. If you haven't been to the channel before, this is a beginner CNC channel. I'm trying to take you on my journey and show you what I've learned so far, and then through all the trials and everything that I've had with this X-Carve. We'll get started with our 0.25 MDF board to make this wasteboard square. And then in the space that's left, we're also going to do that spindle lock. So let's go over to the computer and I'll show you how to put two different easel projects into one project to cut on the piece. That way you don't have to pause and take it to that next step. So let's go to the computer now. So as you can see, I've got the spindle lock over at the bottom left-hand side of my project. I still have this radius of 12 inches by 12 inches. So there's a lot of room to do additional things here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into the other project. And all you have to do here is simply Control C for copy, go into the other project that you have open and hit Control V. As you can see now, it's here to where all we need to do is a little bit of adjusting. We can do that now by spinning it. So there's two ways. You can spin it this way by hand. As you can see, you're a little crooked here. Hit Control Z to go back the way you want it, or you can go into your shape and you can do a rotation here. Or you can also flip it horizontally or vertically just by going Edit. And this is probably the easiest instead of trying to figure out the angle. So we'll flip horizontal and then we'll go Edit and we'll flip it vertical. So as you can see, we still got a lot of space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that down a little bit to maximize the amount of board that I have to carve. Next thing you want to do is make sure all your settings are correct and that you've got your tabs. And how many tabs depends on how many you want. And you can adjust those tabs by clicking on the project, looking at their location. For instance, this one here, I do not want on a corner. That's just, that's not good. Put that one there. We'll put that one there. We're going to do a couple more. So what we'll do is we'll go to the cut, go down to the use tab section here. We're going to add this to 6. So now I have 6 tabs to work with, and then you just want to look at where those locations are, and they'll be laid out via the yellow little lines that you see here. Once you think you've got everything set up just the way you want, all you have to do is, now all we have to do is set the machine up and start carving. So this is what we're going to be carving that spindle lock for. That way when you're pushing this down, you're not having to hold it and try and get around to lock this in place. Make it a lot easier when we have this spindle lock. First thing you'd always want to do though is make sure that you're raising your bit, or raise your workspace area, and I'm doing that by a 3D printed knob that I printed out, and I'll link that down to the description. If you have a 3D printer, you can print it out. If not, you can also download these designs off Thingiverse, and there are companies that will make these for you. I haven't, because Easel is not capable of converting SVG files, I haven't been able to put this into an SVG to actually carve it. That would be amazing if I could though. So we're gonna raise the bit up, or the spindle up. I'm gonna use a 1/8 bit straight cut, single flute, to cut this project out. Gotta have that. It's your collet adapter for the 1/8 inch. So put that in. Bring her up to size. Like I said, complete headache without that bit lock. Makes it a lot more difficult to do everything. And that is sharp. Ouch. Yeah, I can tell you right now, I'm excited for this spindle lock. Make it so much easier carving. Okay, now that we've got the bit in, everything's good here. I've got my spindle dial set to 1. No need to go higher than that. 1 is the only thing you need. All right, the next step is to make sure your workspace is free and clear of everything. And once that's done, go to the machine and make sure it's turned on. So we'll turn that on now. All right, so now let's move over to the computer and let's get our 0 axis point set. All right, so now that we're zeroed out there, we're gonna raise this up a little bit so we can get our Z probe in. All right, so now that we've got that all set up, we're going to attach our Z probe, which we'll do that real quick. Get that all set up. Attach the collet. Make contact. We're good there. Touch plates in place. Put this away. Now it's all cut out. What you need to do is take this off and we're gonna release the tabs. As you can see, it's kind of falling apart there in some spots. And it's bound to, but that's okay. It's because we've cut some pieces out and we've still got some others tabs. So what we'll do is we'll flip it over and we'll get these tabs out of the way. Okay, so we'll get these little pieces of the tabs sanded off, and then we'll give it a try. you've got one here, and now I've got one that I can do here as well. So I can manipulate this any way I want. Let's make sure it lines up. And it does. So we're good to go there. Okay, now we're going to take those tabs off with our disc and belt sander. All right. So our spindle lock is ready to go. All we need to do now is give it a try. All right, so let's see how this does. This is supposed to go right here. Yeah, it works. It's locking in. Okay, that makes it a lot easier, and it gives your other hand a lot more free room. And then when you're done, just pull it out. Done. All right, so a quick and easy way, some accessories that are must-have for your X-Carve. These will help you out dramatically. I noticed just with this one time that I did this, I'm not quite used to it yet, and it's a little tight here. So I'm sure we'll get that fixed up as far as me putting it into this little groove that's there to make sure it stays. But getting that bit out and then trying to get it in, I think getting it in is always the most difficult piece for somebody, because when you've got it put in, you usually have to hold that. Now I don't have to. Now I can hand tighten it here. And then I can just hold my spindle up here. And that is a whole lot easier. Like, by far a lot easier. And this second one, it's gonna help me lock in my work pieces at any particular angle now and allow it to square out if I'm doing a jig or something. So having a second one of these is gonna be a huge win for me. If you guys like what you see, please feel free to give it a like. If you'd like to see more of what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. It shows that you're interested in what I'm doing, and I'll continue to make more. One question I have for you, and I'd love to see down in the comments, is the possibility of a name change. I want my channel to be sustainable, and if I keep it Everything X-Carve, I'm afraid that Inventables might come back and tell me I can't use the word X-Carve in my channel title. So what do you think about Carve Everything? Give me your feedback. I'd love to hear it. And also just to simply interact with you on what you guys would like to see. So please feel free to leave that down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.